action news. Now, your table is ready. Join 1380C's Jeff Smith with the decision makers of Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. This is the Roundtable.
Hi there, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us once again here on the Roundtable program for this Sunday, taking some time out of your weekend to join us. We appreciate it as always. We're talking about big events over the next couple of weeks here in Northwest Ohio and how you can get involved and learn about that. That is what we are all about here today. Rich Knockhazel, also Kathy Miller from Destination Toledo joining us this afternoon. DoToledo.org is the place to go to find out information on there. Good to see you guys again.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Also Matt Lynch from the Valentine Theater joining us this afternoon. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Same here.
Let's talk a little bit about some of what we have coming up. And of course, as we get a little bit closer to March, feels like we'll never get out of winter, Rich, but as we get a little bit closer to March Madness, people who love sports love this time of the year because it's March Madness basketball. We saw BG do NCAA tournament games for the women's tournament a couple of years ago. This time it's Toledo's turn.
It's definitely Toledo's turn, and we've been involved with the event for a while in conjunction with the University of Toledo. And our role really starts before any of the details get finished. It's the bigger picture thing.
Yeah.
Is the group going to come to Toledo or not? And that depends on venues. The University of Toledo, of course, has beautiful facilities for basketball. And we have a good hotel community to offer. We had to secure rooms in 5 different hotels for teams and for sponsors, for the various officials and people participating in the event. And all that took place months ago. And now we're anticipating the game and preparing some of the final things for it.
And securing something like this, obviously with big events all the time and the work that you guys do day in and week out, when you look at trying to get all of those hotel rooms filled, make sure they're available, I mean, a lot of work going into that, I'm assuming.
No question about it. Our hotel community is outselling their facilities every day, as we are for larger groups. And so usually it's 18 months and out before an event starts that we get involved and start working on the big picture planning.
Yeah.
And then as it gets closer, we help with some of the details, like with NCAA. They want each hotel to look very similar in their welcome for the teams. So we're working with them for that. They'll have custom-made key cards for their hotel rooms that we've ordered specific to this event in Toledo. And so that'll be a souvenir for people coming in, overnighting. They get to take their key card home and be a remembrance of the game. But we'll also have welcome banners. You'll see hospitality business employees be wearing welcome buttons. Lots of ways to let them know we're happy they're in Northwest Ohio.
Kathy, how important is it, as he was mentioning, getting the banners up, getting the buttons, getting the face of the tournament all around town? How important is it going to business, getting everybody on board? How successful have you been so far?
Well, it's hugely important in that you want to be cohesive in your look, and you want everybody to see that welcome sign and to feel welcome. So we want to get that message out to them.
Yeah.
And we've been very successful. Our hotels work really well with us in getting the message out. They know how important it is as well to get that business back in the future.
From a location logistical standpoint, Rich, as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, big hotel project going on right now on Secor, where the Secor cinemas used to sit.
Sure.
How tough is it knowing that that project's not done yet? That could have been a great venue for this event.
Yeah, actually, those are properties we're really looking forward to having in our inventory. Sporting events like this are a little bit different because food and beverage becomes an important component. Pre-game meals, looking at films, all those behind-the-scenes things happen in hotel facilities. And typically, although these properties will have some capability of that, a full-service food and beverage property are typically what they're looking for a sports team.
Doesn't matter. We saw 2 years ago Baylor, the #1 seed overall in the tournament, comes to Bowling Green, Ohio to start playing in that tournament. Doesn't matter who comes into these games. You get 4 teams for the weekend. Doesn't matter.
Does not matter unless they're really close teams like BG and UT,
Right.
or Detroit and UT. Their number of people they bring in is just as many for a smaller college or maybe a college that's not so familiar to your viewers as one of the bigger schools. We'll be using over 250 room nights a night for about 4 days for that event. So over 1,000 room nights in economic impact.
But the ability, obviously, if we were to get a Big Ten team, get a MAC team, get somebody from Michigan,
Sure.
that would help out. That'd be beneficial.
No question.
Get better travel. Some other events that are coming up, Kathy. We've got 13 ABC is happy to sponsor a wine event, which is happening down at the Seagate Center. But before that, Beer Fest.
They
which,
happen to be back to back.
This keeps happening.
We'll all be there.
Yeah, this keeps happening year after year. This event continues to get bigger and bigger. Last year, great crowds, great music, and the vendors continue to line up, yes?
They do. This is the 8th year. The beers are local, they're regional, and they're national, which gives people a chance to try things that they haven't had a chance to. For example, some of the beers out of the Pacific Northwest, they're not distributed here, but this is a chance to try them. And eventually those beers do start to filter into our area.
Good
like
choice of words.
Kona. Kona is an example. They're in
Okay.
our market now, and it's Hawaiian beer and great beer.
Yeah.
But you'll find people that are novices to just the craft beer junkies that
Yeah.
just can't get enough. So you get people, because beer
We'll call
is-
them enthusiasts.
Yeah, enthusiasts. I
Yes.
like that. That's better.
When you look at events like this, why doing things like Beer Fest are important to a community like Toledo? Bigger cities do it too, but why is it important to do things like this? I mean, we're going to talk about doing movies. We're talking about basketball
Right.
games. Why something like this?
I'll tell you, it is a regional draw. It's going to pull in not just the local people, but people from out of town. There'll be room nights out of it. There'll be a
Honestly,
yeah,
people
there
will
will
make it a
be.
week.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. People will make a night out of it, spend
Yeah.
the night, in order to enjoy it.
Right.
So yeah, it's
You can put quotes around that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a regional draw. That makes it even better for us.
That's what you guys have recognized the last couple of years with this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention that a person coming in for a day for an event like one of the festivals is hugely important. The averages are that person will spend about $100 to $120 for the day that they come in, which includes their ticket to the event.
Mm-hmm.
So local restaurants, local retail, all are big winners in these events that have a big draw just for the day.
Yeah.
And then for those that do overnight, you're looking at $250 or more, typically spent by that person that's overnighting for that same event.
Yeah.
So the hotels come into play, some additional retail probably come into play. Food and beverage is a huge winner in an overnight guest.
Yeah, and as you look at events like this, and you mentioned restaurants and you mentioned costs, but the costs, I guess comparatively speaking to a big city and having a venue like this, very affordable, or much more affordable.
Yeah, much more affordable. On the average, probably a 25% savings if the same event was in a big Ohio city or a big Midwest city. So we're big enough to have those events.
Yeah, take that, Columbus, take that, Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely.
This year, they've actually added from 6 to 7 p.m. a special brews, a VIP hour.
Yeah.
So you'll have to become a VIP and get that ticket in order to find out what beers they're serving.
I noticed that because
Yeah,
that's
the
window
first
right
year.
there for the ones who act early and act often, I
Right.
guess. But you can go to glasscitybeerfest.com to learn more about that. Matt Lentz, as we said, also with us today from the Valentine Theater. Matt, if you go to the dotoledo.org website, you see the calendar of events. And one of the things that stands out, obviously, the Silver Screen Classic Series, which you guys, this is not the first year for doing this, but
No, it's not.
I guess talk about the genesis of doing this and what kind of response do you get from listing these old classic movies and having people come down to the Valentine?
Well, Jeff, we started it about 3 seasons ago when George X and I started working at the theater. Actually, it's 4 seasons now, excuse me. But it's not new to the Valentine. I think the Valentine tried it a few years prior to that with different success levels. But I think we just brought it back at the right time. We're the right venue at the right price. So you bring all those things together. People have a communal event or experience.
What's it like seeing a movie down there? I've been down there for symphony. I've been down there for opera, other events, ballet. What's seeing a movie all about in the Valentine?
Well, you walk into our beautiful theater, sit down and relax, and for $5 you get to see a classic film.
Yeah.
You get to take advantage of concessions, which are reasonably priced for the evening. Reasonably priced parking surrounding the theater.
Right.
Not everyone is used to parking or paying for parking in downtown Toledo. Well, in downtown Toledo, yes, but it's always an issue. But There's parking on the street and reasonably priced paid parking surrounding the building.
I wanted to show people at home, show them some of the movies that are up and coming as far as the dates are concerned. Let's go ahead and put that up on the screen for folks. Wait Until Dark, classic Audrey Hepburn movie, February 28th. March 7th, Blazing Saddles with an asterisk. We'll get back to that in just a second. March 8th, Titanic in conjunction with Imagination Station and what's going on over there. And also on March 21st, All About Eve, another classic from the 40s? Or 40s, I believe. Let's go back to Blazing Saddles for a second. Asterisk there, because on the website, you guys have pointed out that is mature audience only, or that's what you're hoping for. Matt, I got to ask you, the selection of movies, when I'm looking at that list, 3 of them make sense. One of them, it kind of stood out like a sore thumb. Yeah, exactly. I mean, talk about selecting that movie, which 1974, Mel Brooks directing, coming